Right. So get it recorded. Hopefully, for those of you who cannot attend, you will still have a good taste of what this program is about. Come on in. Feel free to take one of these leaflets in the back. Okay, so in the interest of time, why don't I just get started? Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to my little talk on the new innovation, School of Innovation. Wait, hold on. What is that little thing? Oh, okay. Yes, because I'm recording it. Okay, that's better. All right, thank you. Sorry, you can tell I'm already losing my voice from this whole morning of work. But my name, Professor Hayden So. I'm talking about the School of Innovation today, even though I'm actually a professor in electrical engineering. Computer engineering program is what I do. So after the talk, if I switch back my hats to my computer engineering hat, you can ask me questions about computer engineering. But now what I really want to focus is my new love called the School of Innovation. So if you have been to one of our main Hong Kong U admission, sorry, I'm really losing my whole voice. You have heard that this year at Hong Kong U is very special. So usually we have 10 faculties, engineering, science, all the good things. But this year we have 2 new schools. So now you will hear that we are having 10 faculties plus 2 new schools. So this School of Innovation is going to be one of the new schools together with the School of Computing and Data Science. So you'll hear a lot from our admission teams talking about this because this is an exciting news. This is quite rare for Hong Kong U to start a completely new schools interdisciplinary endeavor, because we want to update ourselves. We want to tie into the rest of the world, and it's super important in this area. Computer and data science, very important. Innovation, extremely important. So important that we are starting this new school. So today, my task in the coming hour or so is to tell you a little bit about this new school, what it is, especially the new program that will be running here called the Bachelor of Science in Innovation and Technology. All right, so it's brand new. Everything is starting from scratch, but it will be coming this September already. It's coming September 2025. So let's get started. See how it goes. Wait. All right, so 3 big things that I want to bring home today. First, I will talk about the BSc program, obviously. It's called BSc INT. It's first of its kind undergrad program designed for tech innovator. So our goal is to train tech innovators. The curriculum is project-led. I'll say a few more words about what I mean by project-led. We'll have a co-op education component in it, as well as a student customized technology focus. So it's a very interesting way of teaching STEM topic. Then, like I said, we'll have a new school. The school, sometimes we call it the I school, because as I will introduce, there are a lot of I's in the school. Of course, structurally, it's going to be interdisciplinary. It's a new school supported by 4 big faculties at Hong Kong U: engineering, architecture, science, and business. So 4 very strong faculties join hands to start this new school just to do innovation. That's how important innovation is going to be. Everybody in this new school, from the faculty member teaching you, like me, all the way down to the staff and the students, are going to be sitting in this crossroad between engineering, architecture, science, and business. Students, what kind of students do I want in this new school? The students for this new school, I expect, and I hope I can build that these students are going to be creative, very good at hands-on project. They enjoy addressing real-world problems using science and technology. And when you graduate from these schools, you'll be a very agile, entrepreneurial researchers, innovators. So we'll say a little bit more on what you can do coming out of this school and what's so unique about this. All right, so let's get started. So this school is going to be fun. And this is where we start. It's 2 a.m. in the morning. You are sound asleep. You are in your bedroom, and you sense something funny. All right, you smell something, and then you find that, hey, something's wrong. you saw that the recycling bin in the kitchen is on fire. Okay, what do you do? Now, if you go back to the 90s, so I see some of the parents here, you lived through the 1990s, you used to have these internet jokes. Let's see what happened if you were in the 90s. A mathematician comes in, saw the fire, and then the mathematicians, being a math person, look at the fires. Fire is very interesting. Draw some equations, and then at the end, he proved to himself that there exists a solution in this problem, and he is happy because that's all you need for a mathematical proof, and therefore he goes back to sleep. At the end of the day, the fire is still burning. Then the scientist came in. So what happened to the scientist? The scientist came in, also saw the fire, but she saw that the fire is burning with a very funny greenish color. So she gets very intrigued. And then so she hypothesized that the paper must be doing something funny to the fire, so it's burning in green. And so she studied the fire, she studied the paper, she designed experiment and analyzed the chemical of that papers. And at the end, she discovered a brand new chemical no one have seen before that burns with that special color. So she's very happy. She's a scientist. She's satisfied with the discovery. She goes back to sleep after 3 years of discovery. All through this time, the fire is still burning. All right? Remember, it's burning fire. So what will an engineer do? So an engineer will come in, saw the fire, but he was a little bit smart. I'm thinking engineer. He's thinking that, hey, the fire is burning in kitchen. I sleep in my bedroom. Then he find that, yeah, I have to do something. Otherwise, the fire will get to my bedroom. So he decided that he needs to start building a wall to block the entrance into the bedroom between the fire and him. And along the way, he also develops a new brick materials that can withstand burning for way longer than the traditional brick. And he also optimized a robot to use this new material to build this block wall very fast with this new block. So at the end, it's wonderful. He has just developed a brand new brick materials, brand new wall, super strong. You cannot find a stronger wall than that. And he's very, very satisfied with his wall, and he goes back to bed. And at the end, fire is still burning. So if you're a student of high school, what would you do? A student of high school will come here, see the fires, without saying a word, get a big bucket of water, put out the fire, goes back to sleep. So that's the kind of students we are looking for high school. Are you a problem solver? We are looking for problem solvers. We are training problem solvers. We are trying to build a new school to train students who have the mindset to go out and solve the world's problem. When you join this school and join this program, you will actually be having quite a bit of experience going out to the community, working with the industry, working with the community, working with many of our partners to develop solutions and innovate throughout this process to create new solutions to address the world. And therefore, that's really what the kind of student we are trying to look for. It's not like I am saying anything bad about engineering. I'm from engineering or science or math. They are very, very important. And that's why they are all supporting the new school. The focus of the new school is going to be on the problem-solving side of the story. That's why it's School of Innovation. So another thing I'm going to emphasize a lot is that you need to relax. A lot of you are very tightened up here. It's not a very serious business. It's going to be fun. The new school is going to have a lot of fun because I want people coming to the school to see that we have a lot of energetic students who can actually solve the world's problems. So with that, let's wake you up a little bit. Try a little game. So this is a fairly standard. Some of you might have even seen that. So let's try this little game. You're a farmer and you just come back from the market. You're carrying a fox, a chicken, and a pile of grain. The problem is you have to cross the river with this boat, except on this boat, you can only carry one object with you. The challenge, well, the fox loves the chicken. So if you ever leave your fox with your chicken, the fox is chicken. If you ever leave your chicken with your grain, your chicken will eat your grain. Your problem right now is, how do I solve this problem? How can I cross the river without everything being eaten by other things? Anybody have a good solution? No. It's a kindergarten brain teasers. Yeah, thank you.
How many chickens do I have?
You have one chicken. If you eat it, there's no more chicken. Sorry.
I was thinking of putting the grain to the other side of the river, and then
Yeah.
maybe having the chicken reproduce.
Yeah. Okay. But you need to cross the river first. But that's a good idea. So you have to find ways to bring things across the river and then maybe put it down, but you never put two things that can eat one another together.
The river and then go back and take the fox, cross the river and take the chicken back and take the grain, cross the river and go back and finally take the chicken across the river.
Good job. Give him a big round of applause. And this is your prize. So you know how hard it is to get your Rubik's Cubes up there? I see a whole bunch of students in my booth trying to solve it. I was surprised so many people can actually solve this Rubik's Cube. I cannot do it myself. But that Rubik's Cubes capture a very good concept of this school, as well as these little brain teasers. I mean, this is a kid problem. So if you are in, I don't know, genius kindergarten, you can probably solve that as well. But the reason I want to motivate it, apart from giving out some of the gift, is think about this. This is a problem. This is a problem that I have to solve. In this case, it's a small little brain teasers. But what about this? What if I'm now giving you a very similar problem? This is a problem of someone in Honduras, and they actually have to go across and go out and find clean waters. And they have kids that you cannot leave alone. So I'm not saying it's exactly the same, but think about it. There are certain aspects of that brain teaser I just talked about to what a real world problem is. And in fact, it is a real problem. It's a real problem in Honduras. They don't have clean water. Clean water is a big issue in this world. And of course, I took it from World Vision. They have teams there solve the problem. At the end, they get the good water. But this is how I'm trying to get that idea of problem solving across your mind. Because this program, this new school, is really not just about the technology. It's really about going out and working out solutions to real world problems. So another good example, I love talking about stories. Another story to motivate and tell you what that problem solving I mean is, will be this. Apollo 13. So some of you, I'm looking at the age, I think you probably have saw the movie in the 90s or early 2000s about this Apollo 13 mission. So I assume all of you know NASA astronaut went to the moon. So the program that got the astronauts to land on the moon was Apollo 11. So two more missions, Apollo 12, Apollo 13, that's what happened. So in the US, the NASA Space Agency, they already have the experience. They land two astronauts on moon, come back. Wonderful idea. Now on Apollo 13 mission, something happened. It's quite challenging. They were very confident. They said they already knew how to go there. And in case you don't know how to get to the moon, that's how you get to the moon is you launch from the Earth, you go for about 3 days, go to the moon, and then you will circle around the moon and then use the moon gravity to swing you back to Earth. That's roughly speaking how you get to the moon. But in Apollo 13 mission, what happened in day 3 is that there is a service module oxygen tank explosion. So they were just flying on their way to moon, literally in the middle of nowhere. Because you are in that service modules, there are only 3 astronauts right there. You have no help. They did not die, luckily. Now the problem is you have 3 souls flying in space. They are going nowhere. You cannot exactly control the modules, but you want to get them back to Earth. So that was the challenge of Apollo 13. And at the end, of course, it's a happy ending. What happened there was a lot. It's a fascinating story. That's why you should watch the movie if you have not. But here, let me just highlight one of the problems that they have to face. One of the problems, there are, I guess, a million of them, was that after a few more days after the oxygen tanks explode, the CO2 level slowly rise to a toxic level. Because it turns out when you're in that modules, the user have this CO2 scrubbing device that would help digest your CO2 out of your atmosphere, just like on Earth. The problem is because of the explosion, it's no longer working in the SM, and that's why the CO2 is rising as a toxic level. Okay, this is a real problem, real world problem. But the interesting problem, I don't know if it's interesting. I wouldn't say call it interesting. Is that there is potentially a solution. The potential solution is that turn out in the landing modules, they also have a similar lithium ion canister for CO2 scrubbing, except what they have in the surface modules, the little objects, the lithium hydroxide that you have to put in it, was actually made in the shape of a square. But in the lunar modules, in order to use that thing, you have to put it in a circular receptor. So literally a square peg in a round hole problem, if you know the English phrase. In fact, it came from here. So how do you solve the problem? When you are stuck in space, you have no spare part, you have no proper tools, you have nothing. You have no internet, you have no one to complain to. You cannot just go on to YouTube and see how to solve this problem. Because no one has seen this problem before. At the end, what happened in that story is this. Is at the end, what happened is they devise a new way to basically take your duct tape on your spaceship, and then cut out some of the holes from their spacesuits because they are not going to walk on the moon anymore. So they just cut it out, wrap it around. You have these landing modules. They have this instruction sheet. So they are using instruction sheet to actually cover it, and then use more duct tape and wrap everything together, connect the holes back to the lunar modules with more duct tape. And at the end, it actually worked. Okay? And that's how they solved the problem. And at the end, it was a happy story. They came back alive, and everyone was wonderful. This is the best failure in the NASA history. That's what people say. Now, I want to stop the storytelling at this stage, though. So, of course, it is a wonderful story. You can make a Hollywood movie out of it. But if you sit down and analyze it and think about it, why was it a success? Because we're talking about innovations, right? We're talking about problem solving. From the point that you have this problem of having a square canister all the way down to at the end, you have a modules that is duct tape and actually connect to some kind of random holes to make sure it works, is a very long process. It's completely ill-defined. No one knows what it is. Unlike in, for example, an engineering problem, I tell you I need to make that brick stronger. All right, then it's quantifiable. You can measure it, how strong it is now. You develop new material, make the brick stronger. But problem in real world are very ill-defined. You don't know what they are. You don't know when they come out. The solution, sometimes it's high-tech. Sometimes it can be completely low-tech. But the key is you need a good team of people who can work together and bring in some of the science and technology and a lot of creativity to create solutions. And that is what the new school is about, what the new program is about. The new school, the new program is about training students so they will have this kind of mindset. So that next time, if I'm a company or if I'm someone working with people under poverty, and I look at them and I say that, hey, this is something that I want to solve, the students from this school will be able to help you with that. To me, therefore, innovation is a very complex process. Innovations is the process of translating from problem to solution. And it's not just always about brain teasers, logical puzzle. You need science, you need engineering, you need good design, and you need good business if you were to translate that into a startup company. But more importantly is what's on top. Of course, to innovate, everybody will tell you you need creativity, you need to be a creative mind. But to me, the more important part is actually your experience, meaning that you cannot just sit in a classroom, take 4 years of course, and all of a sudden you become a very genius, creative mind to solve real-world problems. You really need the experience to go out and see the world, work with the world in order to be innovative. And that's what this program is about. So the new school, a little bit of technicality, like I said, is a new school of innovation. It will be supported by 4 faculties: science, business, engineering, architecture. The new school, the first program that we are going to start in this new school is called the BSc INT program. In the long run, very soon, you will hear we will have more programs from Hong Kong U, all in the area of innovations. I don't know, innovation and arts, something that we talked about, innovation and sustainability. We are going to start more programs in the new school. I already mentioned this. It's going to be interdisciplinary. So we are not limiting to just very narrow one discipline in science or engineering. We are a lot broader because that's the only way you can find a good solution. It's integrating. We will be blending quite a bit of research activity already happening at Hong Kong U with your T&L undergraduate educations. We'll be working a lot with our community partners. It will be impact driven. So everything is about impact. So in some way, the emphasis, one way to think about it is that this school and the new program is going to emphasize on the application of the technology rather than to develop the technology. You will have a chance to develop your technology, but we already have engineering. We already have science. They are wonderful. So they can develop the technology. This focus on the application of the technology. Now, the focus of today is, of course, about the new program. So I mentioned it many times that it's going to be project-driven. And here's what I meant. When you come into this BSc INT program, the key, the focus, the backbone is going to be a sequence of 7 big open-ended projects. So when I say it's open-ended project, they are really open-ended because the students, you are going to go into the community, work with the community all the way from kindergarten to high-tech research lab. And then you will be working with them together, co-creating this project from all the way from the ideation stage, or developing the solution, refine the solution, prototype the solution, as well as to pitch about your solution. So this whole process is going to be led by the students, co-created with our partner. So what I mean by co-creation? So for example, one of the course in one of the 7 of them will be specifically on NGO. So then in that course, what it means is, for example, we'll be lining up with, let's say, an elderly home. Then I will really be throwing our students go to the elderly home and work with them for a few weeks, about 2 weeks time. So you can actually learn about their operations, you learn about their pain point, learn about what it really means to run an elderly home before you can come back and tell me how to improve, how to innovate for that elderly home. So that's what we meant by co-creation. You will be working with our partners and then develop this project of your own together with them. And throughout the process, you will come back to Hong Kong U, you will develop the solutions. The teachers, me, will be alongside you to develop your solutions. Okay? The idea of this project is not just to develop the project. The solution is important, but the whole process of innovation is what we are going to teach and what we want you to experiment with, and that's how you are going to get assessed. Okay? So I'm not kidding. Like your first course, we will be designing games and for kindergarten. So it will be just small toys and games for kindergarten. It won't be very high tech. You will move on to more higher and higher tech, if you may, with tech industry, with science museum, as well as with deep tech research lab. Then I'm not just throwing you out. For the course, you will have a new set of integrative foundational course to support your project making. So when we say integrative foundation, I really mean integrating everything within the course. So meaning I'm not kicking you to architecture to take one course and kick you to business to take a course and then kick you to engineering and take a course. No, these are new courses that combine these topics into a coherent set of new topics to build up your capacity so you can actually do some of the project. I will say a few words in the next slide. Finally, below that, once you have the breadth of understanding how to innovate, then you will be able to build your own customized technology focus according to your interests. Another important thing is that in year 3, you'll have about 6 to 8 months of time for a compulsory co-op. In this co-op, you will be, again, I will kick you out, you'll be working full-time at a company for half a year. So this is where you'll be actually experimenting with the new real world and develop solution in a real world setting. You'll come back and do your final year project. Your final year project, your capstone project is also going to be open-ended project like this, except your final year project is going to be really, really encapsulating everything. Meaning that you will be doing all the way from finding the solutions, ideating, designing, prototyping, pitching of your own company. So you are essentially going to start your company in your final year, going through the process. You don't have to register your business and find the funding, but you will be doing the entire process from finding your team to finding your problem to developing the solutions. That's basically what this program is going to be about. So if you want a little bit more details, I will stop here for the details. Like I said, if you look at the 4 years of your life, on the left-hand side is going to be your project that you'll be just working on project after project after project. Then in the middle, you will see this integrative course that I mentioned. So I will give you one example. So for example, one of the courses is called Modeling the World. So how would this modeling of the world be an integrative course? So with that, I can tell you what you will be doing is, for example, you will start with physically modeling the world. What do you mean by physically modeling the world? Well, you will be learning about how to use your hand, play with clay, play with your cardboard, play with 3D printers, laser cutters to actually model things in the world. Then you'll learn about how you mathematically model exactly what you have just done. So if you have just made a cube and put a cube into your 3D space mathematically, anybody here knows how are you going to rotate that cube in 3D? If not, great, you should come join me. So you have learned about matrix, what is a transformation matrix, and how are you going to mathematically rotate that thing in 3D space. That's where you will be picking up and learning the math behind it, the linear algebra that you need to work out some of the other more advanced problems. Okay, so that's what I meant by integrative solutions for breadth. Then you have your tech focus. So what I mean by tech focus are essentially a disciplinary elective, except now you can take your electives from all of engineering and science. So what it means is, remember in these projects, you are going to work with your teammate from the school, and they are all going to have different interests. Say if you are working on a robot problem, and then I would imagine one of them may end up liking the electronic part a little bit more on the project. Okay, and then that particular student might decide to go on and do a depth in electronic, and that student will go back to our wonderful engineering faculty and take all the courses in electronic. But at the same time, your very same project partner, a different one, might be more interested in the mechanical part of the robot. Maybe the student really loves the joints and the material and how strong it is to have this particular joint and what to do with it. Then that student will have the choice to go into more depth in more of a mechanical engineering side of the story. I need to do a third example. If your project end up doing something like a 3D printed chocolate for an elderly home, okay, maybe perhaps that's a good thing that can solve a problem. And the student get more interested into the chemistry of the chocolate and the 3D printed and the food. Then the student can go into really organic chemistry or even put food science into this tech focus. That's what I meant by a customized tech focus by the for the student. So that's very important because we all understand a lot of the students, you probably don't have a very clear idea what you want to do with your future. But here, this is somewhat reverse. You will start off doing all these projects and you're learning from this project on what you really love. Okay. And when I say co-op, I want to highlight the fact that if you look at the year of co-op, there's really nothing other than the co-op. That's why you will actually be doing a full-time job. And that full-time job is part of your education. So that will be assessment and constant interview, checking on what you are doing, and we'll be working with your employer to assess what you are doing there. So here I'll just skip a bit detail because they just show you what happens if you really go into it. This is one last pitch, but I want to emphasize the international view of this problem is that we want this program to be a hub for idea exchange for students coming to Hong Kong, go into this innovation sphere, and then they can tie into the startup and innovation ecosystem in Hong Kong or even the Greater Bay Area. But one thing I want to say before we end is this. So I want to share the story with you. This is with engineering, but it really captures the spirit of School of Innovation. So earlier on, I just showed you the idea of water problem in Honduras. Okay, it may looks very far from here, but this is real. So this is a real story. Plastic. So every now and then you will hear it on the news, and if you ever go out to the beaches in Hong Kong, even goes to the one that no tourists go to, then you will see all the garbage there. Okay. And in fact, globally, plastic pollution in the ocean across the globe is a big problem. Now you see that problem. Just like 2 a.m., you see the fire. What do? Do you just look at it and say, bad? Or you take a picture, post in an IG and say, yeah. Or are you like the iSchool student, look at it and say, no, that's really something I need to do about it. And in fact, in 2018, a group of our students, these are our real engineering students at that time, they literally say, this is something we have to do about it. And they did. So in 2018, they saw that problem when they were in an experiential trip going to Bali in 2018. And then they saw the problem. And then they went there. They developed a very low-tech, very ugly makeshift solutions with a few plastic bottles and more aluminum profile and a little bit of a solar panel. And then that's how it started. It's just a very ugly makeshift remote control little things that flow on the water to collect these plastic bottles floating on the beaches. It worked. I mean, it's not very efficient, but it worked. They came back, elaborate on the idea. We went through more competition. We won more competitions. In 2019, they won a big global competitions on Global Grand Challenge. And then they really literally found their company called Clearbot in 2019. Fast forward 5 years, it's a pretty established company now. They have a team of more than 18 by now across 2 countries. So you can notice a lot of them are from India. The starting team was actually Indian student working here. So they actually now have operations in India, in Hong Kong. If you can notice, the background is actually in Gold Coast. So next time if you go to Gold Coast and you see that little boat, that's from our students. And they have operation in India, Hong Kong, Thailand, and Singapore. So they are actually really expanding because sure enough, I mean, I'm not stereotyping, but if you go to India, their water is quite dirty. The river, the lakes just feel dirty. So they have no shortage of customer. So they went there, they literally put the boats there. Their village, the government loves this kind of technology to help clean up their local water. So they are really going out all the way from just looking at the problem, it really is a problem, and go through the whole process with designing it, iterating. I mean, this is a lot more substantial boat nowadays. It's the smallest one that they have is already almost 4 meters long. It's starting with this crazy makeshift solar panel remote control boat. But that's show you the path of the student of this school. It's really to start from seeing the problem, being able to develop solutions. Some of them might end up doing entrepreneurship, start their own company. Some other may not. Some other will continue their life doing other things, being an entrepreneur or doing a postgrad study. It's all good for, but the key for the new school and the new program is that we want to systematically train students with these kind of mindset. So with that, I'll just show you one last slide for you if you're a student or if you have a kid. So is this program good for you? Well, it will be good for you if, one, you're innovative, that's trivial. Two, you're someone who loves solving problems, both your own problems and other people's problems. So I'm sure you have around you, you know people who just cannot stop solving other people's problems. In this case, it might not be a bad idea. So we are really looking for people who are proactive, going out, trying to make a change to the world. You love science and technology and engineering and math. There are still a lot of STEM topic in the new program. So you'll still be doing quite a bit of STEM. And in fact, you'll be focusing specifically in STEM subject. You love hands-on projects. So if you are in high school stage and you are already really into like tinkering this and making that one and trying to makeshift, I don't know, plastic bottle, remote control car, that's the kind of thing for you. Finally, but most importantly, if anything, is that you are not afraid of failure. Because a very interesting thing, if you note about what I say about this program, is that you will be doing all these projects. You'll be developing solutions, but these solutions will fail. Okay? No one, in fact, I can guarantee you, the first few iterations that you make these solutions, they are going to fail. So if you come into a program and you are going to make all these projects and they all fail, am I going to fail you? No, because in this program is the innovation process that you will be rated. The solution quality, I want it to be high. I want all of you to be able to do good solutions. Of course, there's no doubt about it. But we also understand, I need you to understand, and I need to train you on the fact that you will fail. How are you going to iterate your design and deal with the failure of your design? How do you improve on it? How do you work on it? Both from a scientific point of view and both from a teamwork point of view. So this is a big aptitude that we want to look for. And if you have all that and you yearn to innovate, then congratulations, you are that 2 a.m. little owl that will wake up. And for that, I'll just stop here. Thank you for your time. That's all I have. But I will be very happy to take questions. So make sure you follow our Instagram, get out to our website, leave your contact if you want more information. And if you have questions, you should ask questions now too, since I'm here and you have air conditioning. If you're out up there, it's rather hot. Yes.
So hi, thanks. Very interesting sharing here. Just want to find out, you did mention there will be 7
Yes.
projects that we go on. Is that the minimum that you need to go through, or
It is the exact number.
exactly?
Yes, because it will be go by course, by course, by course. So I was counting the number of projects is exactly 7.
And the areas that they're going to go into will vary, like what you mentioned.
Exactly. So we'll define this area that they will be entered into, like nonprofit, but specifically on which nonprofit doing what project, I don't know. Yes. Oh, sorry.
Can you share more about the admission process, like interview or something like that?
Very good. Good question. So admission is extremely important, if you ask me, because I don't just look at GPA. So GPA is important, is definitely one part of it, like how good you are in your exam. But we value hands-on experience, as well as your ability, as well as your aptitude on how good you are as a problem solver. And those are the things that I cannot tell from your DSE result. And so we will be organizing admission bootcamp. We'll have one in January 2025, and then another one in May next year, and another one in July. But basically what this weekend will be is that we'll organize one-day event. We'll invite the people to come here, and they will be working out some problem solutions. And we'll be there. So I'll be there looking over your shoulder to see literally on the ground how good are you in working as a team, solving a problem, and what kind of hands-on techniques you have. So that will be one very important part of your admission requirement. Beyond that, then of course your DSE or your exam, you need to be good. You don't need to be like top 4-star kind of students. You need to be good, but more important is this one. So the other way around is if you're good in your GPA, your grade, but you go to the admission bootcamp and you're really just sitting there, you're a loner, you don't know what to do, you don't know how to work with other people, you don't know anything about working on a project, that's probably not the kind of student I would select for the program.
In July of 2025.
Correct. So I'll have at least 3 times. Yes, in the back. Yes. Yeah, of course. Why not? It's on the website if you want specific requirement. But I can tell you the general requirement is about the same as engineering in terms of the actual grade that I'm looking for. So think about it. So basically, average grade will be around the same as engineering, but I put additional requirement on the hands-on. So you need to be very creative, innovative, good at problem solving and hands-on skill. Yes.
So there will be interview for selected candidates, and I want to know when will the interview be held?
It will be very close to the boot camp. So at the boot camp, we'll be looking at people, and time permits. We don't know how many people will be inviting, so I don't know the exact manpower, but it will be around the same time or even on the same day.
Each candidate will only join one boot camp, or
one is enough. Don't come too many times. I don't want to see you too many times. Yes. Yes, you can. You can become an engineer, but you cannot be a chartered engineer because the program is not for a chartered engineering. So for example, if you are in civil engineering and you are building houses and bridges that people will die, and you need to charter and become a chartered engineer, you really should go to civil engineering. But for many other engineering jobs that does not require a chartered engineer, then I don't see why not. You can definitely pick up jobs from that whole segment. Yes.
Is there any advantage for my son who study ICT, the information computer technology?
I would not say advantage, but is the good thing is I value that subject. So it's counted as one of the technology subjects.
Or any event he joined
Yeah.
as a STEM.
Yeah. This event will be good because I want students to have this experience, right? So if you are like a robotic teams or STEM competition experience, these are all going to be a very valuable experience.
Even in primary, since primary.
Yeah. Those will be a good experience to have.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so one more question.
I got here about 10 minutes ago, so I wonder if I really get admitted to this innovations what we learn, what things we learn.
What will you learn? You have to go back and watch the admission doc. It will be online. Okay, so you learn about problem solving. You'll become an innovator. We'll post I'll try to arrange to get the admission talk either on the Hong Kong U admission site or the school website, either one of them. I have one more question. No. You other people can go if you don't want to hear the. Hi. Yes. So, oh, I forgot to mention about the career path. How can I forget? So we expect there are three major paths that the student will go into. One is entrepreneurship. They start their own company. Two is entrepreneurship, meaning that they will be working as a bigger company, but they will be leading solutions project within the bigger company. So basically, they will be innovating within a larger company. Example would be, I don't know if I said the same thing. Sorry if I have. But for example, think about, let's say you're Star Ferry. Star Ferry will be a good example. So let's say you're a company, you're a Star Ferry. You have been here in Hong Kong for 100 years. You are wonderful. You have that ferry floating, but it's old. And now you are at the point that you really need to innovate and keep up with the technology and the progress in the entire Hong Kong. So how are you going to innovate as a big company? It's actually quite hard because a lot of people have been doing the same thing for the past 100 years. They need newer mind, newer people to come in and help them to develop solutions to innovate their business. So tram, for example, same thing. So these are what we call entrepreneur. And they are in very, very high demand because all the big companies, small, big and small, basically, they all need to innovate. They need to upgrade themselves to the modern world. And a lot of them, they don't really have in-house teams to develop new solutions. They may be able to hire one or two engineers. Usually is that one or two engineers that leads these kind of project. But the students from this school is going to be like the perfect kind of student or talent for these kind of jobs. Another way to think of it is a consulting job. So that will be another way that I would anticipate the students from this program will go into, I don't know, say McKinsey and becomes a consultant, because the students will be very good at grasping new information and collecting this information and be able to present and understand what are the challenge in the market. Remember, business is still part of the supporting faculty. So that would be the two, entrepreneur. Three will be post-grad study. So we expect a lot of the students, well, at least I hope, is that they went through this problem. They will be solving this problem. They will be developing technology solutions. But we know from experience that a lot of them want to do even deeper technology and understand even further in terms of what one or two particular area that they really, really love. So we'll expect quite a number of them will continue to do at least a master's degree in certain engineering or science subject. Okay, so thank you very much. So I'll be around. I'll stay here for a little bit. If you have more questions, feel free to ask me. If not, thank you for dropping by. And I hope to see some of you or your kids in my program. Good question. No, we are expecting about 25 to 30. So it will be quite selective.
The school in DSE
Around in DSE will be around the same as engineering. So the official minimum will be, if I remember, 22. I think 22. That's minimum. Usually, not many people are at the minimum. Most people are quite a bit above that.
Okay.
But in terms of difficulty, I would say is really very similar to engineering.
Mm-hmm.
So the selectiveness is on the hands-on bootcamp, therefore, compared to an engineering degree.
Mm-hmm.
It will be because it will be slightly not as deep as an engineering degree.
So for the boot camp, for each
Yes.
time, how many students per each?
Let me stop this recording before it will go.